Good afternoon, Year 11. I really hope you're all okay. Over these lessons this week, we're going to be looking at revision for your next in-class assessment for test number 2 for business studies. There'll be a number of tasks set for each lesson, and they'll range from individual revision to completing some quizzes and also some input from myself and Mr. Jones. So what did we cover in business activity? Well, here's a quick list of all the topics that we covered, but if you go into files, there's also a revision guide, a PDF document called Business Activity Revision Guide that goes into more detail, and we're going to be using that throughout these sessions as well. So we looked at the nature of business activity, we looked at goods and services, business enterprise, business planning, aims and objectives, ownership, so that's like your sole trader, partnership, LTD, PLC, co-ops, that kind of thing, growth, location, and functional areas working together. Okay, so this is Monday's lesson 1, the first session of the week that you would have for business studies. Like I say, you are going to need to download the PDF, which is also in files, called Business Activity Revision document. So the first task that I want you to do, we're going to release a quiz and I want you to answer the questions to that quiz. Now the idea here is just to start you thinking about what you remember from business activity. What I don't want you to be doing is going through your notes and trying to make sure that you don't answer a question until you know it's exactly right. I just want you to go with what you know. This will give you an idea of the areas that you need to revise. So first things first, you can stop this presentation now. You can go back onto your team and there'll be a quiz that's just been released for you. Complete that. See you shortly. Hiya. So I take it you've done your quiz and I hope it went okay. That should give you some ideas now of about what kind of topics you need to focus on. What I want you to do is to make a table of the topics that you're really confident on and the topics that you need to focus on. This will help you organise your revision. If you're unsure, if you go to that PDF document, the last page gives you a really good breakdown of all the subtopics that we covered. Have a go at doing this and then come back for the final task for today's lesson. Okay, so now you should have a list of all the topics that you feel really confident in and some of the topics that you want to have a little bit more work on. The final task for today, if you've got time, is to complete some active revision. What's really important is that revision isn't just about sitting there and staring at some notes. You actually take an active role in that revision. So what I want you to do is to choose one of the topics that you're not so confident on. And then I want you to choose from the grid below a way to revise that topic. Okay, so it could be that you make revision flashcards or you make your own nutshell or anything that's active really, but ideally from those 4 topics there. Have a go at that and then I will see you for your next lesson of business studies. Take care, bye. Welcome back Year 11. So this is your second lesson of business studies for the week. So I know for one class that means it's on Monday afternoon when you'd normally have Mr. Jones. Then for one of my classes that will be Tuesday afternoon and for my other class that will be Thursday. So this is your second lesson of business studies for the week. Again, you're going to need that PDF document to guide you and a pen and some paper. Okay, so in today's lesson, what I want you to do is to complete the activities on page 3 of the revision guide, that PDF document that we've spoke about. The only thing I don't want you to do off that revision guide, off that page, is the longer question part C, because we're going to focus on that on your third lesson of the week in business studies. Today's lesson, the first activity there, you can see you're going to be looking at some definitions of some key terms. Then there's some quick questions which mainly focus on your knowledge. Now between those 2 activities, that's almost preparing you or helping you prepare for those multiple choice questions that we know we get on GCSE papers and we know you'll have in your test. The second section, a little bit more information please, starts to ask you to develop those answers, so give a little bit more information in those answers. Any questions, we're online to help you, so please make sure you post your questions there, or if you want, you can just email us direct. That should last you for this lesson. Anything else we can do, please get in touch. Take care, Year 11, and we'll see you for the third lesson of the week. Hi Year 11, so this is your last lesson of the week for business studies. So for one class that will be on a Tuesday, and I think for the other two classes that's on a Thursday. So what I want to do today is to start to bring all of that information, all that revision we've been doing, to bring it together, to have a look at the longer answers. You're going to need your PDF document again and all of your notes so far from this week. Okay, so there are 3 tasks that I'd like you to try and complete today. The first one is to look at the video that I've put a link to there. The video is a 2 teachers video, which is focused on forms of ownership. It will go through all the different types of ownership that we looked at in Year 10 and maybe refresh your memory a little bit. I'd then like you to complete task 2. Now you remember last lesson we didn't do the longer questions on page 3 of the PDF document, and I'd like to focus on this today. The first 2 questions are relatively short questions, so they are a state and explain and an identify question. So they're only worth 2 marks each, so they'll be quite short answers. The second question about Emily and Isabella planning to set up their business as a partnership is the longer question. If you go on to page 4, there is a structure strip there to help you plan your answer to that longer question. This is something we'd really like to focus on for this test. How can we apply? How can we show our knowledge and then come to a conclusion that is supported? So use that structure strip to plan your answer first. You shouldn't write in full sentences on your structure strip. It should just be note form. There's a little bit of an indication of how to add more detail into your conclusions there as well. So have a go, see if you can fill that in first. Once you have done that, then try and write out your answer in full. We're going to ask to look at those when we come back after Christmas. So please make sure that you write it out in full or type it in full and you have access to it when we come back from Christmas. The last thing I'd really like you to try and do today is to complete the next quiz that I will release during the lesson. This will be similar questions to the first quiz that you completed this week, and hopefully it's going to show you the progress that you will have made. Any questions, remember, we are there to help. Have a go at that and then come back for the quick roundup at the end. Okay, so hopefully all of your revision has gone really well this week. If you're struggling on anything, please email us, get in touch, because we're here to help you. There are a couple of extension activities here, but please understand that these are optional. You do not have to complete these. It's just that some students have been asking for things to extend their learning. So if you go back to that PDF booklet, there's the Be the Examiner activity where you've got Brenda's and Bron's answers to an extended question, and you can give some feedback on that. That might give you a feeling of what a longer question could or shouldn't look like. The second thing I've put on there is a BBC report on startups about innocent smoothies. Because obviously we're looking at how businesses start up and what their form of ownership is. So there's a couple of questions about that link. And then finally, if you have a copy of The Founder that you have access to, that's the movie that we watched last year. That's quite a good way to revise franchises, but you do not have to do any of these. I do not expect you to pay for any of them. It's just there. If you have a copy of it, then that could help you, but it's not an expectation that you do these things. Okay, so that's it from us in business studies this week. I hope you have a lovely Christmas and I hope you have a good break. Stay safe, Year 11, and we really look forward to seeing you in January. Take care all. Bye.